In this video, I'm going to show you how to overseed your lawn properly in the fall, specifically in the fall, so you can get the great results and that thick lawn that you desire. Let's get started. So we like to use this seed by a company called Barenberg. And Barenberg is the name of the manufacturer. And what we like about Barenberg in particular is they have a variety of seed that is called yellow jacket coated, which means it's coated with this yellow jacket encapsulation, which is great because it holds 100 times its weight in water. So first of all, this seed really sticks out because it's bright yellow, so you can see where it was put down. That's a huge benefit when applying seed, because when the seed is traditionally brown, it's hard to see where it went and did you get enough in a certain area and that type of thing. And for us, this won't apply to you, but for us that do this for a living, it allows the customers to actually see where the seed is on the lawn. And they feel like they get value because they can actually see the actual seed instead of, hey, did they put some seed down? Did they put enough down? They can actually see where it was put down and how much was put down. So I like this yellow jacket seed. It just gives you a little more higher percentage of success by having this yellow jacket coating on. So here's the small lawn. Ramon's getting ready to lay down the seed, which is the first step of the process here. And so the rate we're putting it down is about 3 pounds per 1,000 square feet. So when you're looking at the bag of seed, you can just note on there, you need to apply it at 3,000 pounds per square feet. And you need to measure your yard first so you can get the area of square footage you have at your house so you can put the appropriate amount down. And you can see where you're just using a broadcast spreader to throw this seed down, and it's just throwing it across the lawn here. And it's as easy as that, and that's how we're going to go ahead and spread it throughout the lawn. You can see when I was talking about the benefits of this yellow jacket seed being yellow, you can see in the lawn where it's applied. It's very easy to see where it's applied and where it's not. That's why we love this stuff. Not only for the fact that we're going to have higher success rate with it, but we can see where it is and make sure we got it everywhere where we want the seed. So huge, huge benefit. By the way, we've noticed when we stop using this yellow seed, we get a lot more service calls from customers asking, did you put the seed down? How much? Where? So the yellow seed is a plus, and could be a plus for you applying it yourself. You can see some areas are really tight and nice and green, and other areas are kind of loose and sparse. And the whole idea behind overseeding your lawn is to tighten up all these sparse, loose areas here. We want them to grow in thick and be plentiful next year. So that's the purpose of aeration overseeding. You know, if you have a super, super thick lawn and it's like carpet, you probably don't need to overseed. But if it looks like this, again, great candidate for aeration with overseeding. Another thing I wanted to mention, if you're selecting your seed, you want to make sure you choose the right seed variety. You can see this lawn has some fescue in it. It has some bluegrass in it. Here's some wide blade grass fescue. It has a mixture of a couple things, but in Colorado, the most popular type of grass is bluegrass. In fact, 90% of the lawns are Kentucky bluegrass. So I would recommend getting a bluegrass seed when you seed your lawn. Like, here's another thing of fescue right here. So what happens is sometimes people seed their lawn and they just buy whatever seed. They don't look at what's in the seed. And it's a mixture of fescue and rye and all kinds of other things. And next thing you know, next year their lawn has all these different species of grasses in it, kind of like this one. It has several different things in it. A lot of fescue, a little bit of rye, and mostly bluegrass. But it's just a mess, and you can't undo it. Once you've seeded and that seed comes up, you have a variety of different types of grasses in your lawn, which you don't want. So check the bag. You're not going to get 100% bluegrass, but mostly bluegrass is what you want in your mix if you have a bluegrass lawn. If you have a fescue lawn and you want fescue, go for it. If you have a rye lawn and you want to seed with rye, go for it. Just know what species of grass you have and stick with that. Don't mix and match and have a little bit of everything in your lawn. It just looks horrible, ununiform, and not beautiful at all. And we see that happen a lot of times. People are like, I put some seed down last year and I got this thick grass everywhere. That's not what you want. And what happened again is that you put down the wrong species of grass. So don't do that. Check the bag. If you're in Colorado, you're safe with bluegrass unless you specifically know otherwise there. And you can see Ramon's kind of just going over the lawn. He's overlapping very nicely. He's making sure he gets a really, really good blanket of this seed down. So this particular customer is going to get a really, really good germination if, and this is a big if that we talked about earlier, if they keep it moist for 14 days. And if you don't keep it moist for 15 days, all this work that Ramon is doing right now is kind of worthless. Because if it doesn't have water and it doesn't stay wet, it's not going to happen. Grass isn't going to grow, it's not going to germinate, and kind of a waste of your time and money. So do the second half, which is watering. You've got to water the heck out of this. And again, not lots of water, just when I say water the heck out of it means you have to keep it moist. So you can water for 5-10 minutes at a time, but 2 times, 3 times a day to get the success that you want. That's very, very important. It's so important to us that when someone has this done, we let them know after the service that it needs to be done. We text them that it needs to be done. We call them that it needs to be done. And when I say needs to be done, means that they need to water. They got to keep it wet, because if they don't, it's just not going to happen. You can see Ramon's just tidying up some of the areas where he thinks the spreader didn't put enough seed down, and he's just using his hand like chicken feed just to make sure that he's covering all the areas there. And again, this yellow jacket seed, it's just amazing for being able to see where the seed is and where it's not. So as a reminder, if you put this seed down to thicken up your lawn and tighten up your lawn, it's going to work out great, because what's going to happen a lot of times is that it's going to sink down in the turf. So this seed right here is going to work its way down into the grass where it's shady and cold and wet and start to germinate. Now, I can't stress enough, if you have big, open, bare spots in your lawn, kind of like this to some degree. This is even worse than this, but right here where here's a good example. On the end here, where it's mostly dirt like this, you're going to have a real hard time getting the seed to grow here unless you put down some covering like some peat moss or some type of insulation to help keep that seed moist and wet and shaded throughout the day. A lot of people think that they have big spots like this in their yard and they think, oh, we'll just seed it and it will fix itself. It's not going to happen. You gotta keep that wet. So I recommend, if you have spots that are this bad, you're going to have a harder time getting to do it with seed. So I recommend that you actually sod these areas. You're just going to have much more success. And an area like this is pretty small, so it's not going to cost much money to sod it. And then you're done. Trying to get seed to grow in bigger areas like this, or even bigger areas than this, is going to be really hard. And I don't know that I'd waste the time to do that. Now, you can get it to be successful, but to do that, you're going to need some covering like peat moss or something else, as I indicated earlier, and you're going to, for darn sure, have to keep it moist all day long for 14 days. So again, Ramon is just going through the lawn, doing the last stage of the seeding process, which is applying the liquid aeration to the lawn. Again, it moistens the seed, gets the process started. And what's great about liquid aeration is that it has a tendency to loosen up the soil, to allow water, air, and nutrients to get down to the root system so we can feed the root of the lawn. We've just had great success doing it this way. So it's simple. That's the process to aerate and overseed your lawn. I hope this was helpful, and it's a simple process, and I want to give you the confidence that you can do this yourself. If you make a few mistakes, it's okay. There's not a lot of complexity to it, so you can't make a lot of mistakes. And even if you do, you're probably still going to have success. So I encourage you, give it a try. You don't have anything to lose. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe and like the channel. And remember, it's so true. Green lawns make you smile.